I just want you to notice. Can I teach? You notice how Matthew keeps continually saying, Jesus did this so that this would be fulfilled. This happened so that this would be fulfilled. And he was born here so that this. Matthew just keeps taking passages from the Old Testament. He's sitting down in year AD 60. He's writing about Jesus, everything he remembered about Jesus, and he keeps taking scriptures from the Old Testament and saying, man, I realized he was born for this to be fulfilled. He came here for that to be fulfilled. This happened that may be fulfilled. When Jesus did that was fulfilled. When he fed the 5,000, that was fulfilled. When he rose from the grave, that was fulfilled. When he was persecuted, that was fulfilled. 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 That's what Matthew's doing. He's a Jewish man looking back at Jewish scriptures and said, this man who I knew for 3.5 years, man, he fulfilled all this stuff we've been reading about since we were little kids. Now, why is this so significant? Okay? I want to read you something that's not coming up on the screen on purpose because I want you to listen to my voice. Okay? I read an article about a team of mathematicians who published a study of the mathematical odds of a person fulfilling just 8 of the 50 explicit prophecies that Jesus fulfilled when he came to. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, as a student of the Bible, Jesus fulfilled some 300 prophecies. Okay? This is important. Okay? As a student of the scriptures, I want to tell you that Jesus' life, his birth and his life, he fulfilled some 300 prophecies from the Old Testament. But there are 50 that's like right in your face. Now, I want you to listen to this, okay? The odds of a person not fulfilling 300, not 58. How many? Somebody say the number. 8. Say the number. 8. Shout at me the number. 8. What is the mathematical probability that one human being in history could fulfill 8 of just 50 prophecies about where they would be born, how they would be born, what cities they would be in, how they would live, how they would die, how they would raise? Just the mathematical prophecy of how many? How many? Now listen to this article. The reason why prophecy is an indication of divine authorship of scriptures, and hence a testimony to the trustworthiness of the message of the scriptures, is because the minute possibility of fulfillment of prophecy. Anyone can make predictions. Having those prophecies fulfilled is vastly different. In fact, the more statements made about the future and the more detail there is about the future, the less likely the precise fulfillment can be. For example, what's the likelihood of a person predicting today, in 2023, the exact city in which the birth of a future leader would take place? Well into the 22nd century or 24th century. This is indeed what the prophet Micah did 700 years before the birth of Christ. Further, what is the likelihood of predicting the precise manner of death that an unknown religious leader would experience thousands of years into the future, especially a death that had not been created yet? Like crucifixion did not exist during these prophecies. Yet this is what David did 1,000 years before Christ when he wrote about the death of Christ in the Psalms. Again, what is the likelihood of predicting the specific date of the appearance of some great future leader? Hundreds of years in advance, yet this is exactly what Daniel did 530 years before the birth of Christ. Now, listen to this. Now, watch this. Everybody listen. This is dope. This is dope. A professor at Westmont College calculated the probability of one human being fulfilling any one of the major prophecies made about Jesus the Messiah. The estimates was worked out by 12 classrooms of students representing 600 university students. Now listen to this. After examining only 8, not 300, not 50, only 8 different prophecies, they conservatively, lowball, estimate that the chance of one human being in history fulfilling all 8 prophecies is 10 to the 17th power. That's a lot of commas. That's not what you want your bank account to be. I already know. Right? Listen. To illustrate how large the number 10 to the 17th power is, a figure with 17 zeros, the professor gave this illustration. if you mark one of 10 tickets and place it all in a hat, thoroughly shake up the hat, and then ask a blindfolded man to draw one ticket out, his chance of getting the ticket is 1 in 10. Now suppose we take 10 to the 17th power. This is equivalent to taking 10 to the 17th silver dollars, coins, lay them on the face of the state of Texas. They will cover the entire state of Texas until it's 2 feet deep. This is like covering the state of Texas with 2 feet deep of silver coins. Now mark just one silver dollar and stir up the entire state. Blindfold one man and tell him you could travel to the top of the state, to the bottom of the state, to the east or the west, in any direction you want, but you must pick up one coin that's marked. What chance would he have of getting that coin right? He'll have the same chance as the prophets would have had writing these 8 prophecies and having all of them come true by one man in human history. So the chance of one human being fulfilling the prophecy of the Old Testament, just 8 of them, is equivalent to filling the state of Texas with silver dollars 2 feet thick and telling one person who's blindfolded to find one silver dollar. Pastor, I don't get what you're trying to tell me. Jesus is the only Son of God who came from heaven, for there is no other God. There is only one true God, and every other God is an idol. It cannot see, it cannot hear. There is only one true living God, and every other God, no matter what his name is an idol. It is false. It is the creation of human beings and the trick of demonic devils. There is only one God, and his name is Jehovah, and Jesus is his son. There is no other God. Every other God is an idol. Cannot see, cannot hear. There is only one true living God.